Hi, everybody. It's Brett from Comic Book Queers, and we are not going to have a full episode this week. EvilJeff is sick. We are going to wait next week and give you our full Thunderbolts review. He has not seen it. However, I have. And so I am here with a CBQuickie to give you an early, spoiler-free review of Thunderbolts. Let's go. All right, let's talk about Thunderbolts. So we were a little nervous going into the movie because of the MCU's recent history and poor quality. You were all there. However, I can say, look, Thunderbolts is good. It's really, really good. I think midway through when you're watching it, you'll start to reminisce about the original Guardians of the Galaxy. It very much has that energy, that spirit, that vibe. Obviously, this is not a space movie. This is very grounded. I'd say it's a nice hybrid of two of the MCU's best, The Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy 1. However, Thunderbolts really is its own thing. We've seen the MCU market Thunderbolts as, Marvel Studios market Thunderbolts as kind of an A24 movie to which we kind of rolled our eyes, felt a little desperate. It no longer feels like the reach it did when we first saw that. This is a smart, character-driven, dialogue-driven, emotionally grounded movie, kind of unlike we've ever seen from the MCU. The MCU has always been good about playing emotional notes, about interweaving those character moments with action moments. The first Avengers was very good at that. Thunderbolts has taken that to masterclass level. So let's talk about a little bit why I think it's so effective and it's working so well. I think number one is the talent behind it, not only on screen but behind the screen. You're looking at the two writers and the director of Thunderbolts. That's Eric Pearson on the left. He's doing a lot of work for the MCU, but he's written some really good MCU projects like Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow. Then in the middle is Joanna Calo. Joanna is the co-writer, but here's what's of note about Joanna Calo. She is a writer for BoJack Horseman, for Hacks. She's a showrunner for The Bear, and she also was a writer for the Netflix limited series Beef, which was very critically acclaimed, very wonderful, an excellent character study. And so you've got these two writers, one of which who's done these really deep, rich, filled with tension, dramatic, funny shows like The Bear, like Beef, with Eric Pearson, who's kind of done who's worked on the better side of the MCU. And they are joined by director Jack Schreier. I'm going to pronounce that name correctly. Schreier. Jake Schreier has worked with Joanna Calo on Beef. He was the director of Beef. And so really just that the team behind that wonderful show Beef, the fact that they're the ones behind Thunderbolts, it should give you some hope. It should be a little bit promising because it is. So that's the cast or the crew behind the camera. Let's talk about the cast. Hannah John-Kamen, she pops off the screen more than she did in Ant-Man. Under a different writer, a different director, just a different crew. She just seems to come through a little bit clearer. You really get to connect with her as a performer, as a character, more so than you did in the Ant-Man movies, which was wonderful. David Harbour is Red Guardian. You know exactly what you're getting with this guy, and it's a pleasure every time. He is a comedy goldmine. Every line he has is hilarious, but I will say he does feel like kind of a comedy outlier in that the humor in Thunderbolts is certainly more up my alley, and it's very dark, it's very dry, it's very sarcastic, and so therefore you cannot compete with these three in terms of the comedy that is delivered in this movie and the tone that is, I like, honestly, these three, they pack such a punch comedically. Julie Louis-Dreyfuss, obviously, as Valentina, I mean, you know what you're getting. This is Veep, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe version. She's surrounded by helpers and her staff, her team, and it's very much a Veep dynamic. So if you're a friend of that show, enjoy. Wyatt Russell, I think, might have been my favorite part of the movie. It's so weird coming, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, another not great one. Kind of felt very meh about MCU US Agent. I've done a full 180. There's another character I'll do a 180 on in a little bit, but honestly, just enjoy every second of Wyatt Russell. He really does a great job of getting you on John Walker's side without softening the character. But then there is the king of the dry line delivery, and that is Sebastian Stan. It's so great to see kind of post-Oscars Sebastian Stan try on Bucky once again. This time he brings us a Bucky with a palpable exhaustion that we haven't seen before from Sebastian Stan, and he's sort of in this kind of old generation role. He's kind of like a Gen 1 MCU character with all these kind of new generation MCU characters like Florence Pugh's Yelena. But that dynamic really just pops, and these three are just a triumvirate of comedy gold. However, the movie belongs to these two. Florence Pugh, Marvel knows exactly what they got with Florence Pugh. She is born to carry a movie. She is the emotional heart and soul of this film. You really, really care about her and her well-being and her mental health, as you do Louis Pullman's character. Let's talk. If you are a Marvel fan, you know exactly who Louis Pullman is playing in this movie. I won't go too into it. I will say that this has notoriously been my least liked Marvel character in the comics. Every time this character shows up in the comics, you get an eye roll from me. I think the story behind this character is convoluted. I think this character is just kind of like any different writer can do whatever they want with this character and make him. I just did not ever care for this character. But I do now. Louis Pullman has done the impossible in getting me to not only care about this character. We know he was announced as being in Doomsday. Louis Pullman was. So I'll just say this. I look forward to it. I look forward to more of this character. And that is not something I ever thought I would say. Ever. But back to Florence Pugh. Just, my God, please don't go anywhere, Florence Pugh, ever. So ultimately, this movie, it's more grown up than other Marvel movies. This does not involve a MacGuffin. It involves the mental health and well-being of our main characters. And that's kind of the thing that we are invested in. Never has Marvel gotten me to care about the characters in any of its movies so deeply and so authentically. What I love about Thunderbolts is that, yeah, it's about a bunch of bad guys, who are thrown together and have to do stuff. And you root for these characters to show up heroically. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but you're invested in whether or not they do. And I think one of the beautiful things about Thunderbolts is it got you rooting for heroism again. It got you rooting for good behavior again, for selflessness again, for pushing away isolation. It gets you invested in all of these things. And I think it sends a great message. I think everybody should see it. Take your teenagers to see it. Lord knows it's a message they would benefit from. It's a message all of us would benefit from in these dark times. But bravo to Thunderbolts. I really think, for me personally, I'm putting it behind Infinity War and Winter Soldier, not in that order, of some of the best MCU projects ever. Definitely hearkening back to Guardians, like I mentioned. So waste no time. If you don't have a ticket, buy it now and enjoy. I'm going to see it many more times, and I'm going to say it. The MCU is back, baby. Okay. Stay tuned for our full review. Bye.
Schreier.